Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. A new week begins on Infinite Magicraid and we have the new banner coming this Friday, Miracle Wishes Only. But before we talk about the banner, let me talk about Aptoide. My promo code ActorIMR5 is available again between the 1st and the 10th of July. So if you want to have a 5% extra cashback on every purchase you are going to make in game, make sure that you are both using Aptoide and my promo code ActorIMR5. And thanks to everyone who is using my promo code, that's also a way to support my channel, so thank you so much. You have a code to redeem above my head in the game, Summer 2024, if you haven't claimed it yet, and I think that's not the case for me, so I'm gonna do it before I forget. Let's confirm, and there we go, 10 excellent runes. Okay, so back to it, time to talk about the banner. We are gonna have a new legendary hero, we are probably gonna have the detail of the hero tomorrow, we are gonna have the return of Jenny already in the same banner, and we are gonna have Indrah, Popper, and Faxian. I don't know anything about that new hero, but I can assure you that in that banner, you have many great heroes. In fact, you have Indrah, that is an amazing hero for many content in the game. That's Indrah. In fact, that's a hero who can one-shot some bosses in the game. He has a crazy damage potential. If you are using him with that hero, this is Dianmu. And you need exclusives on them if you want to apply more marks on the enemies and deal more damage faster with Indrah. Basically, when you check the Wuthering Coast, that's the strongest team you can have. Crazy damage with that team, and that's mostly thanks to Indrah and Dianmu. Check the damage result in auto. You can have a way better score if you are manualing the fight, but I'm a bit lazy and I'm not doing that. So that's the kind of score you can have if you are using both Indrah and Dianmu in the same team with 3 exclusives on them and 3 limited heroes. If you don't have the 3 limited heroes, but if you have both Indrah and Dianmu, and by the way Faxian is in the same banner coming this Friday, you can try to use that team. That's the most free-to-play team to try to increase your damage. Look at that, 5,800,000,000 using that team without any limited hero. That's basically the strongest team you can build in the Wuthering Coast without any limited hero. Outside of that, in the Faction Abyss, if you check the lineups, people were able to beat the stage 30 using both Indrah and Dianmu and a few other units. Look at that. Sun Wukong, he was given for free someday, so no excuse not to have him if you were playing when he was first released. And then Aniru, and look at that, 4 heroes and only one star level 1, so useless. 1 exclusive on Dianmu, 3 on Indrah, and that player was able to beat that floor. Once you have Indrah and Dianmu, that's the easiest Faction Abyss in the game. And for the guild boss, of course you want both Indrah and Dianmu. If I check the fight using only them both, 6 turns and the boss is dead. I have big stats on my heroes, but you can basically kill the boss level 6 with only the 2 heroes. And the same comment in many content. They are gonna help you as well to beat some specific bosses in the Endless Cloister, super easy. And they are both really useful versus that boss in the Purgatory. In the same banner, you have Jenny. I don't have her for now, and I'm gonna try to obtain her this weekend, depending on the efficiency of the new hero. We are gonna check that during the week. I have a few miracle runes in stock, and so maybe I'm gonna try to push for one of them. She is a direct damage dealer, and she can apply a Severe Wand. And for that, she is gonna be good for Gwyneth fights if you are using a direct damage team, or in the Purgatory of 7 Sins versus Wrath. If you check the lineups, people were able to beat the stage 30. I was able to without using her because I was using a lot of limited heroes, but look at that, stage 32 with her inside, so she is not mandatory but pretty cool for that content. But don't expect to play her in different content, I'm not sure if she is gonna be that great in fact. But at least versus Gwyneth, to apply the Severe Wand in the direct damage team, it might help. If you check the rankings, no one is using her in the Wuthering Coast, so in fact she is here only for Gwyneth and the Purgatory. And then you have the return of Popper, and of course that's a great hero for PvP still. You won't use him in PvE, but he can still reduce the defense and the tenacity of enemies and control their turn meta, so early and mid game he might help in some content. As well in the Faction Abyss, he might help you to pass the stages depending on the heroes you have. He can also allow lower the resistance of enemies, so it might help if you are lacking some effect hit on your heroes. In PvP, unfortunately, the meta changed because of the new hero Erato. So in fact, players are most of the time using that team, and we are gonna see that later, that it's changed absolutely everything in PvP. And if you check, most of the players now in top rankings in Classic Arena are not using a popper team anymore. They are using a tanky team with Sun Wukong and most of the limited heroes, in fact. So you will find a popper in Advanced Arena, War of Thrones or the Championship as a second team. And that's the team I am still using today, and it's working. Depending on the opponent you are gonna have, it's not gonna work, because if I have a team with Sun Wukong, I don't have enough damage with that, and if I have Atkins in front, the same comment, they are gonna kill me, so I have to work on that. But generally that's the kind of team you are using with Popper inside. But today you have so many tanky units and counter units to Popper that it's hard to use him in PvP. And finally, the last hero is Faxian. That's a cool hero depending on the heroes you play in the same team, because if you are using multiple heroes from the same faction, he is gonna take more turn meta at the beginning of the fight, the same turn meta as Popper, a bit more if you are using only heroes from the same faction, and he can increase the turn meta of your heroes by a lot. But it's really hard today to play a full Sagacity Alliance team in PvP, so don't expect him to be better than Popper. But at least he can revive your heroes using that skill, one of your hero at once, deal some internal injury damage and inflict deep internal injury too on the enemies, increasing your internal injury damage by a lot. So if you are using an Indrah on the Wuthering Coast, for example, let me show you the team again, it's gonna increase the damage of Indrah, and that's why you have that kind of score at the end without any limited hero inside. He's a cool hero to use in the Faction Abyss in the Tower of Mark. You can try to use him in the Purgatory exploration. Depending on the heroes you have, he might help you to clear some stages, but don't expect him to deal high damage, and he has no shield at all, so he won't be that efficient. And in other content, don't expect to use him, he is not such a good hero. Then you have Eliezer for the epic heroes, and he is a good epic hero to start the game with or mid game. He is gonna passively increase the attack, defense and max HP of all your heroes, deal pretty nice damage, increase his own crit rate and crit damage. That's a pretty good unit to start with. Let's say a kind of cheap Nordak thanks to his passive. Then you have Muradin, a good support hero to start the game with, and in the Faction Abyss later, he can provide a lot of buffs on your heroes. Defense up 60%, 30% more tenacity, consolidation 1, resistance down 25% on the target with the basic attack, and he is passively reducing the direct damage taken by your heroes. So that's definitely a good hero to use in the Faction Abyss, the only one who can provide a consolidation 1. In fact, that was the only one before Atkins. Now of course if you have Atkins, you will have the 3-turn consolidation and you will have some shield, so Atkins can replace Muradin. But if you don't have Atkins on your account, for the Faction Abyss, Muradin is a great option. You have the same dwarf in a different faction, but that one is completely useless. He can apply an attack up 40%, then resistance down, and that's pretty all. He's gonna deal some burn damage, but in fact no damage at all, so that's not a good hero to use. And finally you have Potter. He was already on the last excellent banner, if I remember correctly. He can provide shield, consolidation to your heroes, heal your heroes, and increase their defense by 30%. So that's a pretty cool epic hero to start the game with, or for the Faction Abyss. Okay guys, that was all for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment or subscribe if you are new to the channel. Have a nice day guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.